Oh,
Oh.
he's gone now.
I don't get mad. I get even.
All right. I think we're all here except for, there he is. All right, let's call this meeting to order at 6:34. Let's have roll call. Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Mrs. Graves.
Here.
Here. Dr. Lewis.
Here.
Ms. Palazzolo.
Here.
Mrs. Rankin.
Here.
Mr. Stelzer.
Here.
All right, before we officially get started here, this is our first meeting of the year, and I'd certainly like to welcome everybody back. I hope everybody had a good holiday. I hope we're all refreshed and we're good to go. All right, the regular minutes. Has everybody seen the minutes? Not only the regular minutes from the last meeting, but also the minutes to the permanent improvement meeting of the same day.
Yes.
Any questions, comments, revisions?
Yeah, I had one.
Rob has one.
In the council meeting minutes, the very last sentence, I was just telling Joni this, that it talks about refer to finance committee exploring financing incentives for local businesses. It should be financial incentives.
Yeah, okay, so just change
We're not
the,
financing any business.
Yeah, just the one word.
Yeah, just the one word. And then that would also change in the agendas, when the items, because it also still says here, it says under the finance committee. So just those two places, change it from financing to financial.
All right, I need a motion and a second to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mrs. Graves,
Abstain.
saying, that's right, you weren't here. Dr. Lewis,
Aye.
Ms. Palazzolo,
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin,
Aye.
Mr. Stelzer.
Aye.
All right, we'll accept those minutes. All right, moving on to communications. I guess everybody's basically, looked through the reports. If you've got any questions, you can contact the appropriate heads. I would like to call attention, though, to John's annual report, service report. It's a fairly comprehensive report about everything that the service department has done the prior year, some of the things that they're planning to do. Just want to take a minute. That's did a really good job on that, John. I would advise everybody to take a look at it. It's got some good information in there. That's the reports. There's the, I guess, what do we get, John? Did we get an email talking about the mowing contract? The mowing contract is coming up.
Yes, so if you want to refer that to the Public Works,
Yes, please.
All
that
right.
would be great.
We'll-
So they're going to renew with the 2%. They're still helping us with the sprinkler system repairs and stuff that we need done. And then Alex had asked about the mulching, about doing the mulch, because they can probably do it with the 1 day versus what we do. So I told them to give me a bid on that as well.
Hey,
That-
John, when you say mulching, like what areas would they be mulching, please?
The village, we usually do around 70 yards of mulch.
Okay,
Parks,
so pretty much all the parks.
yes, the Booster Pike Islands, all that stuff that we do.
Okay, thank you.
Well, okay. I mean, we'll cover that in your committee.
Yes.
All right, I also got a couple of good emails here from a couple of residents. I'm not really going to read them. Again, sort of complimenting John on some of the work that he's done, cleaning up stuff.
All
Good
right.
job, John.
Good job.
Always.
Shout out to John. Attaboy.
Of course, and then there's the fiscal officer's report from Eli. If you have any questions regarding that, look that over. It's fairly straightforward information. All right, Tony, do we have anybody? Are we permission to address council?
Let's take a look here. No other attendees, just the panelists we have with us currently. So we're good. Nobody's out there.
Nobody's out there. All right. Well, for any of those of you who are out there and listening to this, we do have this particular aspect of council now where you can come in and address us in real time. apparently we can't still see you, but we can hear you and we can respond back to you in real time. So just as a sort of a reminder, it's a feature that's available as long as we're going to continue doing the Zoom meetings. So just remember that. All right, so up next on the agenda is the election of the President Pro Tem of Council. Yes.
I think Kelly is doing an excellent job. I would nominate her to continue.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a second. Mr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mrs. Graves,
Aye.
Dr. Lewis,
Oh, I
you can vote, you can vote.
take it back. No, just kidding.
Ms. Palazzolo?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye,
Mr. Stelzer?
Aye.
All right,
thank you.
all right, so she will be our vice mayor in the coming year. All right, we have the ordinance to make appropriations for the current expenses and other expenses for the village. Fiscal year ending 2021. We'll have 3 readings of that, Tony.
Go ahead and do the first reading.
Yeah.
An ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the village of Mariemont, state of Ohio, during the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2021.
All right, that was the first reading. We'll have the second reading next time.
No. We got it. We got to do all 3.
Oh, we gotta do all 3. Yeah.
No.
All right.
I don't think we need to do an emergency. We just have to have 3 readings. Is that right, Joni?
Correct.
Right.
All right, so you've heard the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow
Hold
the second.
Hold on, let me understand something you just said, Tony. We're going to do 3 readings, but are we going to try to pass this on emergency? Is that the idea?
No.
Ed, what are the rules here? Do you know?
No, you just have to have 3 readings for, since it's an appropriation, it's really just a reallocation of money that we've already committed to, correct? Tony?
Well, we have to appropriate these funds at the beginning of the year before we can spend them. And we do
Okay.
this, we do this appropriation every year. So we
Well-
can then go ahead and spend the money throughout the
Yeah.
year.
Okay, so let me just jump in here on something. Tony, you and I talked about this over the weekend a little bit through emails, and there's some, obviously some squished numbers in here. And and I think the other council, I know myself and the other council members probably haven't had a chance to really understand what we're signing off on, because it seems like what happens, this will become the de facto budget for 2021.
Yes, this is based on the budget we did for 2021 back in July of 2020. That's correct.
Okay.
We're squishy numbers, I know, but
Okay, hey
Okay,
guys,
so-
Joe, hold up one second here, please. Let's get to the second reading. It's during the second reading that we have discussion.
That's fine if you want to wait till that. I mean,
I'll need somebody to move.
all right, second reading, an ordinance to make appropriations for the current expenses.
Okay,
and other
hold
expenditures.
on, Tony, I had a motion, I need a motion and a second
Oh.
to suspend the rules and have the second and third reading.
So moved.
Second, all right. Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Graves. Avia, are you there?
Aye.
Oh,
Okay.
there we go.
Dr. Lewis,
Aye.
Ms. Palazzolo,
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin,
Aye,
Mr. Stelzer.
aye.
All right, I'm sorry about this, but we kind of have to get back to sort of following procedure here. Now we can have the second reading. Tony, please proceed.
Okay. An ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the village of Mariemont, state of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021.
All right, you've had the second reading. Now we may have discussion.
Okay, back to my original question. If we pass this right now, I think in past years, this in fact becomes the de facto 2021 budget. It's kind of the number that keeps showing up throughout the entire year. And I guess right now, I'm not comfortable in signing off on that, because I think, as we talked about in the permanent improvement meetings, there's some holes in these numbers that are on this paper.
Hey, Tony, last year, didn't we passed it and then we came back and updated it, right? Didn't we do that last year?
That's correct. We can we can go back and amend this appropriation ordinance anytime we want, and where we can make additional appropriations as we do at the end of the year with the supplemental appropriations. But it can be amended, yes.
I do agree with Joe that I think it would be good for us to have whatever numbers we decide finally to go forward with, we need to have more precise numbers. So these are ballpark numbers for right now, and we're going through the review.
Oh, they are.
So, but you're saying also, Tony and Ed, we have to, before we spend any money, we're supposed to have this money appropriated, right?
Appropriated, right.
And then we can come back and amend the appropriation. And
Exactly.
to Joe's point, I think we ought to try and get that wrapped up by next meeting, the next council meeting is to try and finalize it. I think it's what we did last year. I don't know if it was the first one, the last one in January, the first one in February, where we finalized it and came up with better, more precise numbers.
Yeah, I mean, we get the numbers, at the end of the year, we get actual numbers. So it'd be like reading on the budget. So we don't have a whole lot of time between getting the actual numbers and this the first meeting of the year.
Yeah.
So we
Okay,
can
and I
definitely do
think
that.
we've talked about in prior meetings that you'll have the actual numbers by Wednesday, is what you're kind of shooting for, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah, I'll have them
The 15th, right?
this week. Yeah,
15th.
I'll have Allison close up the books, and I'll do my annual report, which will be in the next meeting. And I'll shoot that out to you guys prior to that, of course.
And I think what we're shooting for here is a 2% inflation spend on our spending this year.
Like I said, this is based on the budget we did back in July, so we'll have to.
But that budget back in July, Tony, was based upon estimated 2020 numbers.
I know we do this every year, though. It's
Okay, but
know,
I
it's a
want to
long-
lock this
it's a-
down so I know what the 2020 actual spend was and put a 2% inflation spend overall in that thing. So we're not, there's a little bit of squishiness going on here that I have no idea what the 2020 numbers actually are. We have talked about a 2% inflation spend, and I'll ask the rest of the council members if you're comfortable with that sort of target of what we're going to try to do in 2021.
Yeah, I think 2% makes sense. I mean, that's what we agreed to. That's actually what, Tony, I know you built it in July, it was 2% at that point in time, and it seems like it's still the appropriate number. We just need to know what the final 2020 spending was, and then we can go ahead and, I agree with you, Joe.
And there will be a couple exceptions to that. Number one is we got the money that came in from Murray Pat that'll go back out the door. So that's not part of the 2%, if you want to call collar on the spending. We talked about potentially putting some more money out of the pool in 2021. There's some things that'll, be expanded to stay around that, but our goal is to try to stay within a 2% spend number, 2% inflation spend number.
I agree.
Yeah, I think everybody's good with that.
all right. I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
We'll get these numbers adjusted based on the actual plus 2%.
All right, let me go through one other question I have on this thing before we go forward. So you've got down below in the special, I'm not sure it's general revenue, total special revenue funds. You got some money being spent for coronavirus relief fund, both for police and fire. And I think, are those amounts included in the general fund for police and fire too? That same salary amount?
Yes, I did not take it out of the general fund, so that's something I will reduce.
Okay, so let me, the coronavirus money, when it came in, do we have a separate fund for that? Are we required, or is it just part of the general
Yes, we
fund?
are required. We did set up a separate fund. 305.
So we won't spend as much out of police and fire out of the general fund because of those coronavirus funds.
Well, that's correct. So what I did was with the county, they didn't just give us the money up front. I had to ask for reimbursements. I had to send them proof of payroll and this and that, which I did last week. So the money will not come in until 2021. It'll go in as 305 fund. But yeah, it'll first come out of, we'll take it out of 305. That's correct. The reimbursement.
I need to understand a little. Maybe we can talk offline. Let's not get too much of an accounting dissertation or discussion here. I don't want to bore everybody else with it, but let's talk through that to make sure we're on the same page probably sometime this week. All right.
All right.
All right, Tony, can
And
we,
also in that coronavirus fund, there's money that we didn't spend yet for the IT project. That's in that 305.704, 47,500. And as I've been told that the invoices are starting to roll in now.
you see the invoices? Yeah. Okay. All right, let's have the third reading, Tony.
All right. An ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Mariemont, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021.
All right, we've had the third reading. We need a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mrs. Graves,
Aye.
Dr. Lewis,
Aye.
Ms. Palazzolo, Maggie, you're muted. I heard.
Sorry.
Okay. Mrs. Rankin,
Aye.
Mr. Stelzer.
Aye.
All right. That'll be adopted. All right. Everybody looked over the bills? Any
And-
questions regarding the bills?
No.
Nothing really stands out too much, although you will note on the bills, I referenced this earlier, there are those construction plans for the Murray Avenue path. That was just a draw. They're probably only about, well, not quite halfway through those drawings just yet, but as Joe just pointed out a bit ago, the village will be reimbursed for that as we go forward. All right, I need a motion, a second to pay the bills. Mr. Bartlett, who had the second?
I did.
Marcy. Mr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mrs. Graves,
Aye.
Dr. Lewis,
Aye.
Ms. Palazzolo,
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin,
Aye.
Mr. Stelzer.
Aye.
All right, we'll pay those bills. All right, do we have any committee reports this year at this time? Huh?
Not appear that we do.
The what?
Miss Laney.
Yeah, no reports. All right, no reports.
Reports.
All right, under. Sorry. Yeah, I got a couple other things to refer to them. Yeah. All right, under miscellaneous, we're going to nominate a council member for the Planning Commission and one for the Architectural Review Board. Kelly is currently on the Planning Commission. Are we all good with her continuing?
Make a motion.
You don't mind? Do we need a motion, a second for this?
You do.
All right, so for Kelly on the Planning Commission, a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all right. Mr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mrs. Graves,
Aye.
Dr. Lewis,
Aye.
Ms. Palazzolo.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin,
I guess.
Mr. Stelzer. No, you can vote for yourself.
Aye.
All right. Kelly will stay on, and the same then for the Architectural Review Board. Currently, it's Marcy, and I believe traditionally it's the chair of the Planning and Zoning Committee. It's she's on, why she's on. Any thoughts? Anybody want to nominate her?
I'll nominate her.
All right. Do I have a second?
Marcy.
Yeah, I'll second.
Rob has the second. Mr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mrs. Graves,
Aye.
Dr. Lewis,
Aye.
Ms. Palazzolo,
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin,
Aye.
Mr. Stelzer.
Aye.
All right. All right. So Marcy will stay on the ARB. The outstanding.
Bill, I have one other thing on miscellaneous I want to bring up. One of the things that's been thinking about recently is organizational structure of the village, trying to figure out how we got this thing set up and do we have the right roles being addressed throughout the village.
Sure.
So I'd like to make a motion that we put into the Finance Committee a organizational review of the village, including taking a look at should we be hiring a administrator or not for the village? Because I think there's some things that I'm concerned about how things are getting done right now. And I think it's time for us to take a deep dive on that to determine if whether we should hire a administrator, but also as part of looking at the overall organizational structure of the village.
Okay, so this would be sort of a two-pronged kind of a thing that we're having put in there. It will be the organizational structure, and it will be to look into whether or not a administrator is warranted or a good idea kind of a thing.
Well, I would just make it one topic. I would just say it's org structure, including potentially or assessing village administrator.
Okay, all right.
I just think there's some things we need to address, and when I look at, and again, this is just a real 40,000 foot view at this point, but I'd like to figure out whether we can get, find an administrator that can help us address our economic development activities, because I think that's something that we really haven't done a lot of recently. I think it would also help organize and try to coordinate our pursuit of grants. And I also think that potentially an administrator can help us in our analysis of issues and opportunities that the village may be facing. I think right now, a lot of that is being done by council people, and I don't know if it's fair for us to have to spend as much time as what we're spending trying to figure some of this stuff out. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of this is going to depend upon exactly what role that a potential administrator would have. And that's the first part of it, but B, finding the person who can fit that role. I don't know if somebody exists like this. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time, but I think at this point in time, it's probably well worth taking a strong look at this.
All right, well, we can put that in there and Rob can get started as long as we're.
Just add another thing to the list.
Yeah, another thing. While we're assigning things to Rob's committee, he's also going to have to, I'm going to assign the police and fire, getting the new car, the turnout gear, camera, and there was a tennis and something for tennis. All right. Does that cover all the committee?
So do we take a vote? Just a hand vote on doing this in the finance committee, or what's
No, I
the
can
formal
just-
process here?
Well, does anybody have any objections to it? Raise your hand. I think everybody is good with it. I mean, it's just a committee assignment. If there's debate and discussion, that'll be when he holds the meeting. Is there anything else to be assigned to committee? Any other committees?
Well,
Can we do some updates?
Well, hold on a minute. I'm not done with miscellaneous.
Okay.
Right.
Is there anything else? Is there any other committees to be assigned?
well, she put it in. She put it in the salary stuff.
Yeah, that's in there. That's listed. Yeah, the salary increases.
And then you put the mowing into public works.
Mowing went into public works. Yes. I think we're good on that. I think we're all good. Okay, everything is assigned, all the new assignments. I do wish, though, that we could get back to work on some of the existing assignments now that we're increasing the workload. All right, the final thing in miscellaneous is the Outstanding Citizen Award nominations will be due. You turn those into Joni, but we have until the middle of March to do that, but you should probably start to think about it. So we'll have that. Now, Maggie, now go ahead. You wanted to give an updated report, a verbal oral report?
Not really a report. I just wanted to update, like I have some target dates. Review the MCO code, which is kind of this ongoing thing. We did complete what we intended to by the 12/21/2020 date. So I just need to place an end of first quarter, like March 30th date as our next target date there.
Okay.
For our kind of next round. And then I think that's it. I mean, I'm behind on some stuff, but other than that, that's really the update.
Okay. So you're just kind of moving the one target date out to March, is what you
Yeah,
said?
I mean, I think we just decided that's going to live in my committee forever, so I'm updating it. And then I'm behind on my email retention stuff with Eli, but
Bless you.
Okay.
Does the second item in your list, Maggie, does that ordinance regarding overnight parking? So again, if we're allowing overnight parking, does that continue?
I mean, we can take that out.
I think
I
that-
it's tabled forever.
Yeah.
Because we took it out
We
of,
took it out.
we had one of mine that got,
Yeah, there's no reason for that to stay in there.
Yeah.
And now that we have, we're not under such a panic. I mean, I tabled the solar panel thing because just during the beginning of COVID, while we had no idea what was going on, that just didn't seem like a big deal. But maybe let me get some of these other things taken care of, and then we can put that one back on the table.
Okay. All right, everybody good with that? And let's move on to, got a lot of resolutions to get through here tonight. Tony, you ready?
Ready. All right. First one, to appoint Tom Gilmore as a member of the Pool Commission for the calendar year of 2021 to fill the unexpired term of Anita Hunt.
All right, that's the second reading of that, right?
Mhm.
Correct.
Second reading, all right. Any comments?
No,
No? Everybody good? All right, Don, the next one, Don Keys.
To reappoint Don Keys to the position of Building Department Administrator for calendar years 2021 and 2022.
All
To
right.
set compensation.
That's the first reading. Swimming pool fees,
Next one, resolution to update swimming pool fees.
again, first reading.
All right, resolution to update tennis court fees for the season.
Yeah, again, first reading. All right, second readings of those next week or next time. All right, ordinances.
First one, to amend section 51.025A1A of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances relative to the Architectural Review Board.
All right, that's the second reading. Do we have any comments on that one? I think we've kind of already been through this. We've had a discussion. Maggie, do you have anything to add about it? Any thoughts?
Nope, nothing.
All right, we'll have the third reading next time.
All right, next one,
Laura?
creating a designated outdoor refreshment area for downtown Mariemont and enacting regulations.
All right, again, second reading. Any thoughts, comments about that? It's time to comment.
so
Yeah, hey, Bill,
Yeah,
Uh, I'll just tell you, Maggie and Rob pointed out a couple points. I'm working on amending a couple of other code sections of the Mariemont Code to reflect the fact that alcohol is allowed in door areas. And at some point in time, we may even go further, as Joe says, a deep dive into some of the conditions of this thing, but I don't think we need to do it now, okay?
yeah. I just have a kind of a quick question about this. The last time we talked about this, I thought we sort of agreed. I mean, if the map that I'm looking at here that was presented along with this ordinance, are we in fact extending this all the way down Madisonville Road to Murray and then all the way down Murray over to Oak?
I think that's what we decided. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I have to
that's,
go back and look at the minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, did we decide that? I mean, I thought there was kind of a discussion about it, encompassing too much of a residential area at the time.
the discussion also was, we thought with the Murray Path there, that's another.
All right. Yeah, I'm just kind of, I know there was a discussion out there. It just seems like it's a big area, but I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, that was the second reading. We'll have the third reading next time. Tony, chapter
next one.
79.
Ordinance to remove chapter 79, schedule 2B1 and 2 and C, restricting overnight parking.
All right, that's the first reading. Second reading next time.
All right, to amend Mariemont Code of Ordinances, chapter 79, schedule 1 or IB1, no parking, chapter 79, schedule 2A, limited parking, parallel parking.
All right, again, first reading. All right, the next another.
All right, to amend Mariemont Code of Ordinance, chapter 75.09, riding on sidewalks.
All right, first reading.
Ordinance to remove section 37.20 through section 37.22 regarding civil defense organization.
Okay, yeah.
We might need that.
You might need that, you don't know.
No,
Events over the weekend.
Maybe we better hold off on that.
can we leave it?
No comment, no comment.
please?
All right, Tony, that first reading, we'll have second reading coming up.
The next one, to amend Mariemont Code of Ordinances, chapter 95, parks and recreation, municipal swimming pool.
All right, again, first reading. Second reading next time.
To amend Mariemont Code of Ordinances, Chapter 31, Executive Authority, Village Fiscal Officer.
Again, first reading. Next reading next time.
Ordinance amending Section 32.13, Rules of Council, Y, Rule 24 of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances.
Again, first reading. Last one, Tony.
Ordinance establishing a tree advisory board in the Village of Mariemont and creating new Section 37.06 of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances.
All right, very good. First reading. Second reading next time.
I got a question based on that one, that one right there. So Joe, you have in your committee, tree committee, plan and recommendations. Is there anything more or is that another item we can get off the agenda?
I really can't hear you, Rob.
Sorry, so right now in your, in Health and Rec, you've got tree committee, plan and recommendations. And we're reading this ordinance right now. Is there anything more coming or do you want to remove that from your list of topics in your committee?
Let me get back here. Yeah, that can come out.
So Joe, once the tree advisory board comes up with their ordinance recommendation, that can go right to council?
Right.
That's what we did with the pool commission. Once they had their bylaws, we just shared it with all the council members and we did it all
Okay,
in one
just
swoop. So,
clarifying.
No. Yeah. I mean, the group is pretty much put together and everything, right, Joe? I mean, it's just.
well, we need a set of bylaws. We
Yeah.
need how they're going to operate. So that's the next deliverable from that group.
All right. Okay, we all good? Any more comments? No? All right, we're adjourned.
Hey,
Thanks,
Bill.
everybody.
6.
See ya.